Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Recovery Life. I'm Cottrell Lewis, and I'm joined by Christine Winter and Steve Hills. And we're peer recovery specialists at Chesapeake Integrated Behavioral Health Care. Today, we are discussing another one of our core values of peer support, and that is empathy. Mm-hmm. We see empathy in our Year of the Peer logo, represented by 2 figures holding a ribbon. And that ribbon is intertwined. And it's not only is it intertwined, but it's taken on the colors, each other's colors, establishing an unparalleled wellness connection of peer support. But it's really important for us to establish a clear definition of empathy, isn't it, Steve?
It really is, especially, as you said, that empathy really does undergird everything we do, and I think is one of the special distinctives of peer support.
Yeah.
I really love a quote that I have seen from Roman Kurznerek, where he said that empathy is the art of stepping imaginatively into the shoes of another person and understanding their feelings and perspectives and using that understanding to guide your actions.
Right, Steve. And that reminds me of another quote by Alfred Adler. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another.
Yeah, and that really gets to the difference between empathy and what a lot of people do, which is sympathy. Now, sympathy isn't bad. Sympathy can be a good thing, but it's very different from empathy. Sympathy is a for. Mm-hmm. You feel sorry for someone. You're sad for someone and what they went through. But empathy is really different, isn't it?
It really is. I'm glad you contrasted the two, because not everyone knows that. It's a very important distinction. And our lived experience allows us to support others empathically and in different ways. I mean, Cottrell,
Yes.
You have substance use disorder and addiction, so you utilize sympathy in interacting with peers. And Steve, you have your experience with depression and anxiety, and you use empathy to connect. Isn't that right?
Right, because empathy, unlike sympathy, which is for, empathy is with. And so
Right.
I know that in my using my lived experience, when people are dealing with struggles with depression, anxiety, and mental health, and they're feeling like they don't have energy to do things. They're feeling like they're in a dark place that they can't get out of. They feel like people aren't listening and understanding. I'm able to come alongside, not that we've had the exact same experiences, but that our experiences have a lot of overlap, that I'm able to walk in their shoes. They're able to walk in mine too, as we join in empathy. And I know a lot of times I've heard people say, oh, wow, I really feel understood. And it's that shared lived experience creating empathy.
Yes, it is. Because we've survived a lot of the things that our peers have gone through. And it's having that lived experience with the horrors and the pain of some of these experiences that causes us to have a deeper connection on a whole nother level. I know for me, when a peer shares with me the struggles they're having in addiction, and the grip that it has on their life, I can relate to that because I've been through that also. It resonates with me on a deeper level, and I feel what they're going through. I know the tangled web of addiction and what it spun in my life and in every aspect. So, and it was just devastating. So I know the struggle of trying to stay stopped. I know that struggle is real.
Right.
And it just, it was just terrible for me.
Yeah, and that's an experience that I don't necessarily share in my life with substance use. And so it's so powerful with peer specialists that where maybe one of us doesn't have that pathway that we've walked, another does.
Yes.
And I
yes.
think that's just a wonderful thing about the diversity in the peer workforce.
That's right. The lived experience is the one non-negotiable. We have to maintain mutuality with our peers. Don't you believe that?
Oh, most definitely. That empathy is what gives us mutuality, that shared lived experience. I mean, you see that working in the emergency room over at the hospital all the time.
Absolutely. Yes, it really helps to make that connection with people when they're probably at the most vulnerable.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And it's healing.
Yeah,
Having them
absolutely
discuss it.
healing.
Yeah. Because a lot of us have, with whether it's substance use or mental health or both, because many times they both occur together, there's trauma in that background
Oh,
a lot
absolutely.
of
Yes,
times.
it is.
Absolutely.
It is. And that's what I think is so unique about peer support when we're supporting the peers that we're working with. We have that unique ability to relate to it. And peer support goes beyond just sympathy and feeling sorry for someone. Our lived experience gives us a deeper level. It allows us to have a greater connection. And like you were saying, Steve, the people say that, hey, I didn't know that people could understand that.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just feeling sorry. It validates and it allows us to inspire and encourage hope that they can be well too.
Yeah, there's people that have had enough sympathy. Where they've had enough people feeling sorry for them. And what they need are people who are able to come along, walk alongside them, and help them and support them in finding their pathway forward. It is the non-negotiable that we have as peers, that lived experience, and something very powerful that we bring to the table, that it's not something we just learned about.
Yeah.
It's something we've been through,
Yes.
where we can connect and walk alongside other people in a pathway of healing and a pathway of recovery.
Right, and Steve, it goes back to the quote about from Adler, where we are actually feeling with the heart of another, and I think that's really at the core of what we do, and it makes us oftentimes a critical link in
Yes.
connecting with our peers.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're bridge builders. And we bridge that gap sometimes between the clinical and non-clinical
Bridging the
help. Yes.
Right.
And it's our lived experience that causes us to be able to reach people like that. Well, thank you, Christine, and thank you, Steve, and thank you for joining us today. And we'd like to also thank Chesapeake Television for allowing us this opportunity to share this information with you. Bye for now, and be well.